The year is 1774. On the fertile plains of North India, a conflict erupts with far-reaching consequences. The Rohilla War, a clash between the British East India Company and the Rohillas, proud Afghan warriors. This war marked a significant step in the East India Company's march towards dominion over India, a tale of ambition, betrayal, and the human cost of empire building, unfolding amidst shifting alliances and instability. The crumbling Mughal Empire left a power vacuum. The East India Company, initially focused on trade, was drawn into Indian politics. The Rohilla War exposed the company's growing territorial ambitions, highlighting the complex web of alliances and rivalries. The war's legacy was one of bitterness and resentment. Rohilkhand was devastated, its people dispossessed. Warren Hastings faced a sensational impeachment trial. The Rohilla War serves as a reminder of the human cost of empire and the complex interplay of local and external forces. To understand the Rohilla War, we must first journey back to the early 18th century to the lush plains of Rohilkhand, a region nestled in the Ganges-Yamuna Doab, the fertile land between India's two great rivers. It was here that the Rohillas, a Pashtun tribe of Afghan origin, had established their dominion, their story a testament to the fluid nature of power and identity in 18th century India. The Rohillas were not native sons of Hindustan. They were migrants, warriors who had journeyed eastwards in the wake of Mughal conquests, seeking fortune and glory in the service of the empire. Led by ambitious chiefs like Ali Muhammad Khan, they had risen through the ranks of the Mughal army, their martial prowess and unwavering loyalty earning them the respect and fear of their Mughal overlords. As the Mughal Empire fractured, the Rohillas, like many others, seized the opportunity to carve out their own independent domains. By the 1730s, Ali Muhammad Khan had established himself as the undisputed ruler of Rohilkhand, his authority recognized by the Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah. He and his successors transformed Rohilkhand into a flourishing kingdom, a haven of relative peace and prosperity in a region increasingly consumed by chaos. The Rohillas were more than just warriors. They were patrons of art and culture, their court a beacon of Persianate refinement in the heart of North India. They built mosques, gardens and libraries, attracting scholars, poets and musicians to their realm. The Rohilla rulers, though fierce on the battlefield, were known for their just administration and their tolerance towards their Hindu subjects, who constituted a significant portion of Rohilkhand's population. However, their success was short-lived. The Rohillas' rise to power had not gone unnoticed. Their prosperity, their strategic location, and their formidable military strength made them both an attractive ally and a potential threat to their ambitious neighbors. Their fate, intertwined with the shifting sands of power in 18th century India, would soon be decided on the battlefield, their story a poignant reminder of the ephemeral nature of power and the human cost of ambition in a time of upheaval. As the Rohillas consolidated their power, a new force was emerging on the Indian stage, the British East India Company. What began as a humble trading venture was rapidly transforming into a powerful political entity, its commercial ambitions increasingly enmeshed with the pursuit of territory and dominion. By the mid-18th century, the company, with its private army and growing influence, had become a major player in the complex game of Indian politics, forging alliances, playing rivals against each other, and gradually expanding its sphere of control. The Rohilla War was not simply a clash between the British and the Rohillas. It was a product of the intricate web of alliances and rivalries that characterized 18th century India. Key to the conflict was the role of the Nawab of Oud, a powerful regional ruler and a nominal vassal of the Mughal emperor. The Nawab, Shuja-ud-Dawla, had his own ambitions and his own reasons to fear the growing power of the Rohillas. He coveted their fertile territory and saw them as a potential threat to his own domain. The East India Company, sensing an opportunity to further its own interests, exploited this rivalry. In 1765, following their decisive victory at the Battle of Buxar, the company had secured control over the administration of Bengal and Bihar, vast and wealthy provinces in eastern India. Now they were looking to consolidate their gains and expand their influence further westwards. An alliance with the Nawab of Oud who was heavily indebted to the company for its military support, provided the perfect opportunity. In 1772, the company and the Nawab signed the Treaty of Benares, a pact that sealed the fate of the Rohillas. In exchange for the company's military assistance in annexing Rohil Khan, the Nawab promised to pay a hefty sum of 40 lakhs of rupees, a fortune that would further bolster the company's coffers. The treaty was a masterpiece of cynical realpolitik, a testament to the company's growing power and its ruthless pragmatism in pursuing its ambitions. It set the stage for a conflict that would have far-reaching consequences, not just for the Rohillas and the Nawab of Oudh, but for the future of British involvement in India. The die was cast. With the Treaty of Benares signed, the fate of the Rohillas was sealed. In April 1774, the combined forces of the East India Company and the Nawab of Oudh marched into Rohilkhand, their objective clear: the annexation of the Rohilla kingdom. Leading the company's troops was Colonel Alexander Champion, a seasoned officer known for his military acumen. Facing them was Hafiz Rahmat Khan, the aging but valiant Rohilla chief, determined to defend his kingdom from foreign invaders. The two armies clashed on April 23, 1774, at a place called Miranpur Katra, a small town on the banks of the Ganges. The Battle of Miranpur Katra, though short-lived, was a fiercely contested encounter, a clash of military cultures and contrasting styles of warfare. The Rohillas, renowned for their cavalry charges and their skill with the sword, fought with their customary bravery, their desperate resistance a testament to their courage and their determination to defend their homeland. However, the company's forces, backed by superior firepower and disciplined infantry, proved too strong. The battle raged for hours, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder and the cries of the wounded. Despite the Rohillas' valiant efforts, their fate was sealed when Hafiz Rahmat Khan was killed, a cannonball tearing through his ranks and mortally wounding him. With their leader fallen, the Rohilla resistance crumbled. The Battle of Miranpur Katra was a decisive victory for the company and its allies, marking a turning point in the Rohilla War. It shattered the Rohilla army and paved the way for the annexation of their kingdom. But the victory came at a price. The battle was a brutal affair, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. It also exposed the ruthlessness of the company's ambitions and its willingness to use force to achieve its goals, a stark warning to any who dared to stand in its path. The Battle of Miranpur Katra effectively broke the back of the Rohilla resistance. With their army shattered and their leader dead, the Rohillas were left vulnerable and leaderless. The victorious forces of the East India Company and the Nawab of Oudh wasted no time in consolidating their gains. Rohilkhand, once a flourishing kingdom, was carved up between the victors, its fate a stark reminder of the brutal realities of power politics in 18th century India. The Nawab of Oudh, true to the terms of his agreement with the company, annexed the bulk of Rohilkhand, its fertile lands and substantial revenues adding significantly to his wealth and power. The company, though not directly annexing territory, secured a hefty sum of 40 lakhs of rupees as payment for its military assistance, a windfall that further strengthened its financial position and fueled its growing ambitions in India. The Rohilla War had a profound impact on the lives of those who lived through it. For the Rohillas, the war was a catastrophe. Their kingdom was lost, their families scattered, their dreams of independence shattered. Many were killed in battle or perished in the aftermath, victims of the violence and chaos that accompanied the conflict. Those who survived faced a bleak future, their lands confiscated, their homes destroyed, their way of life upended. The Rohilla War marked the end of their brief but glorious reign in Rohilkhand, scattering them to the winds of history. The war also had significant consequences for the victors. For the East India Company, it marked a decisive step forward in its transformation from a trading company into a colonial power. The Rohilla War demonstrated the company's growing military might and its willingness to use force to achieve its political and economic objectives. It also exposed the company's cynical pragmatism in its dealings with Indian rulers, its willingness to exploit local rivalries and forge alliances of convenience in its pursuit of power. The Rohilla War was a turning point, a harbinger of things to come. It revealed the shape of the future, a future in which the East India Company, driven by its insatiable appetite for profit and dominion, would play an increasingly dominant role in the affairs of the subcontinent. It was a future that boded ill for the independence of India's remaining kingdoms and principalities, a future that would see the gradual but inexorable expansion of British power across the subcontinent.